Who the hell is buying houses? I just read this article about the housing market in the US, and the main question in my mind is who the hell is buying all these houses? Most people I know can barely afford to rent and live paycheck to paycheck. Are companies buying houses artificially raising the prices? Edit. 1. If you make over $100K a year, you're richer than 67 of America. 2. If you're a California resident, disregard this post. Your whole state has outrageous prices on everything. 3. Most people I know, this means my experience as an average income American, $46,000 yearly, and the people in my circle who are about the same. I am aware of this. Not everyone is living paycheck to paycheck. There are a lot of wealthy Americans. There are over 21 million millionaires in the US. A lot of them even don't take mortgages and pay full in cash to save on interest payments. Most people I know seems like a pretty good sample size. Buying power is less now, but inventory is low, so prices are stable, and people that are committed to home ownership are making sacrifices in other areas to make it work. Lending requirements are strict now, so it's pretty rare for someone to overqualify for a house. The real answer is that people with higher incomes are more resilient to interest rate hikes, and are buying despite high rates with intention of refinancing in a few years when rates cool. Reddit and not understanding that some people actually have money. Name a more iconic duo. The paycheck to paycheck stat is usually misleading. You could have multiple $1 million houses, and if you're just paying the bills and not saving anything, you'd be considered paycheck to paycheck. That being said, Americans have more disposable income than any other country, even after accounting for healthcare and education and everything else, so plenty of people can afford real estate, many still paying cash. I mean, I'm buying a house right now, using pretty much every penny of our life savings to pull it off. Kind of hard to say goodbye to that $100K, but owning our own home is by far worth it to us. I paid $50K cash for a moderately distressed house in Evlocol City in May. In Parkersburg, WV market cycles barely even register here. I'll refi out if the ARV is a home run. If not, I can still buy another house here cash next spring. Cash flow is still great here. West Virginia averages $98 square feet with a 146,578 median. I'm definitely not giving advice, but there's a lot more to the story in other places than Ops anecdote points out. It's a big country. There are a lot of people who sell their current home for a huge profit and buy with a good chunk of cash. I mean, both my brother and I are buying new primary houses right now. I have another brother actively looking for his first home. Sister is about to sell and upgrade. If we based it off people I know, everyone is buying. People you know usually isn't a good sample size. Most people I know. You've answered your own question. People you don't know are buying them. You know the wrong people. Everyone I know owns multiple homes. Your circle of poor friends does not mean everyone is struggling. You need to get some better friends. You are of what company you keep. I'll take the downvotes here. Folks like me. My wife and I just closed on a $1.3 million home last month. I'm in my mid-40s, and between the two of us we make $400–500K a year. We've been watching the market for a long time, basically just waiting for the right house, and when it popped up we bought it. If you're curious, I'm in tech and my wife is a realtor. Not to be rude, but most of the people you know have suck-ass jobs or have no financial knowledge. I don't think any of my friends live paycheck to paycheck, and most of them are regular folks, not those that came from old money. And we all live in the most expensive part, San Francisco, of the country. Sometimes people are trading from high-cost area to modest-cost area. Also 1,031 for individuals. One couple I know swapped 4 California doors for 7 houses and townhouses eastern USA. Buyers in CA also were 1,031. Some big companies are buying hundreds of doors. Prices are trending flat to slightly downward. I'm kinda always looking, not gonna buy anything in Q3 Q4 unless something crazy good lands in my lap. Want to see how this plays out. Treasuries CDs for the time being. People are pushing their DTI to the limit is my guess. You can find income percentiles for your geographic region quite easily. The number of people who can comfortably afford today's prices are limited. You need to meet new people. The majority of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, and having a mortgage versus rent doesn't change that. You can buy homes with 3.5 down, and even paycheck to paycheck types can figure out how to squeeze that lower down payment. And to answer your original question, middle-aged millennials. Our population of home buyer in the US is growing at a faster pace than the country had been building houses for the past decade. It finally caught up and now there's still a massive shortage of inventory. I'm on vacation right now with my longtime friends. 2 of them just bought a vacation home together. 7 kids between both families and their total gross annual comp is about $1.2 million. I'm not at that level myself, but there are a ton of pretty normal people who do very well for themselves. Don't buy into all of the doom and gloom you see on this app. Plenty of people are living very, very well. Me. I'm buying every deal that cash flows possible and I'm snatching up some steals. Bought 2 homes, 1 2-bed 1 bar and 3-bed 1 bar at $190,000 for the pair. I'm hearing that people's arms are coming due and they just don't want to deal with a larger interest rate as well as public sentiment being a contributing factor. This is the best time to buy in my opinion. Florida is still multi-offers. Someone needs to come buy my damn house, almost been on market for weeks and it's frustrating. Just closed an hour ago on a hard money house. On short-term loans all that matters is the ARV, so people are still going to buy to flip convert regardless of the market. That is the American way, of course. No matter if it puts you into crippling debt. Every American is expected to own a home and a car. Have a large family, then work until you die. I'm 28 and on duplex number 2. Buying an owner-occupied multifamily makes it much easier, as you can include predicted rent as your personal income to help you qualify and subsidize the mortgage. I bought my first property, $330K duplex adjacent to a local college, making $50K per year via FHA at 3.5 down. Many cash buyers in the market. Not that many people. But they are paying up. My parents just bought a house in Los Angeles at 12 over listing price. They are going to sell their old house, which is worth more than the new one. A $100,000 loss isn't ideal, but it also doesn't break their back and they really want to downsize. At this point, it's a quality of life question more than numbers for them. What is hurting people are the ones that took out home equity lines of credit that should have. Banks are, no pun intended, making bank. Helix a year ago where prime rate was like 4, now they are over 8.25 current prime rate. An interest-only payment has basically doubled, and if they go into the repayment period, look out, all that principal now amortized over just 10 years. I just bought one and I can afford to buy a house because I also sold a house. So if you get both sides of the market, it's not a good market or a bad market, it's just the market. I have too much cash to let it sit idle. All the cash I get off my current doors needs to go somewhere. Birds of a feather. Sounds like you need to meet more people who aren't living paycheck to paycheck. Just bought a house a few months ago in FL, couldn't have done it with the Hometown Heroes program for first-time home buyers. Originally the program was for first responders, nurses, police, etc., but I just found out the program now accepts anyone who works full-time for a FL-based company. I literally only put a $1,500 earnest deposit down and they paid the rest for a $235K home. The one good thing that DeSantis did for our state. I highly recommend looking into that program if you're in FL. I read 1. And laughed, then read 2. And thought, oh okay, yeah, you're right.